Okay, here we are. This is going to take a lot of explanation. There's a lot of things I need to explain before we get into this for real. So bear with me. First of all, this is not a recording of a live stream. I did a live stream of this game a few days ago. It didn't go well. For one thing, the Vive wasn't working, and for another, I was inaudible. So that was bad. I tried to do another recording of it, a fresh recording, non-live stream before, still inaudible. I fixed the problem now, so we should be fine, except that I just unplugged something from the Vive. There we go. Nope, yes, maybe, yes, no. I don't know what's going on. There we go. No. Can you say technical difficulties? I sure as heck can. Give me a second. Okay, welcome. This video is going to require a bunch of explanations, so bear with me. This should all be in the video description as well, but just in case you didn't read that, this recording is not actually from a live stream that I did on Twitch. I did do a stream of this game. It didn't go well at all. The Vive didn't work, so I had to play it in non-VR mode, which doesn't work as well. And, to top that off, you couldn't actually hear me talking at all. Then, I tried recording a regular video like this, like I'm doing now, but again, I wasn't audible. Now I'm doing it again, because I promised you guys this game, and here we are, new retro arcade neon. What is that? We can get the neon here, but really it's all about the arcade. This game recreates a classic 80s style arcade. The main way it does that in terms of arcade machines, like video games, is with emulators, which brings us to our other important notes. Legal issues, copyright issues. You aren't allowed to use emulators with games you don't actually own. Even then, it's a little spotty. Fortunately, some of the ROMs I have on here are games I do own, and the rest are games I don't think we'll get in trouble for. Now, it may look, when we go in there, like I have games on there that are popular major games that I don't actually own, but even if that was the case, I couldn't show them to you anyway. So, bear with me. Now, this not little at all, this large arcade machine here is our menu. It says menu. Let's grab this little light gun, NES style. Thank you for that. You can customize the arcade. You can put your ROMs in there. It supports arcade ROMs, Super Nintendo, Nintendo Entertainment System, Vectrex, Game Boy. I'll show you what I've done with them when we go in. You can go with the smaller classic style arcade or the larger neon arcade. Let's go neon. Got a weird loading screen happening now. This video is going to be pretty short just because I've already recorded this twice now, but I did want to give you guys a look at this game since I did promise I would do that some time ago. Welcome to the arcade. All of the artwork on the walls, like these posters and everything, you can customize that with your own art. I've done that with some of them. The pop machines here, they work. Peppy, Diet Peppy, Pep My, Crystal Peppy, Hilltop View, and Urge. Let's get an Urge. And here it is. You can't actually drink it or anything, not like Job Simulator, but you can toss it. Change machines, as far as I could tell, don't do anything. Yeah, no, nothing to those. What the heck just happened? I seem to have encountered a very strange glitch in this game, where suddenly I'm flying away from the arcade into space with a big flashing magenta light and sometimes a turquoise light. I'm very confused. Unfortunately, there's no way to really get out of here except to exit and then go back to the game, so bear with me. Yes, I know I could, No, that's not what I want to do. Tell you what, I'm going to go to Steam VR Home temporarily, and then go back to New Retro Arcade Neon. Technical difficulties are unfortunately a long-standing issue with the Vive, and I'm having some now, as you can see. This is Steam VR Home. That's an app for a different day. My Steam menu is not working. Nor can I access my desktop. Hold on. I'm gonna actually walk over to the desktop to turn the game on. Oh, I see. Steam has frozen. Steam has frozen. Steam has crashed. Bear with me again. Sorry. Steam VR is apparently still running, but not Steam proper. Let's try this again. Ugh. Launching Steam. What the hell's going on here? I might just have to give up on this, because, my god. No matter what I try to do, new issues keep coming up. It's working now, but the game isn't working. Okay. And we're back. Sorry about that. Man, the Vive is a great piece of technology, but technical difficulties are still the name of the game. It's still early days for consumer VR. Anyway, let's go back to that arcade and hope that it actually works this time. the things I do to help you people see how awesome VR games can be, being the unfortunate key phrase. Because they're not always. Let me find a good game to show you. These are the arcade machines. They're spread out all over the place. I'll show you the rest of the arcade as well. You can see there's other stuff happening too, but for now, let me just show you a game that uses an emulator to give you an idea of what I'm working with. I don't think we're going to get in too much trouble for playing Crystal Castles, which is also one of my favorites. Now, you see on my controllers, the touchpads have become the pieces of a Super NES controller, or rather, a Super Famicom controller. You got a D-pad and buttons here. You might be thinking that's not the best way to play games, using a fake D-pad and fake buttons on a touchpad, and you'd be correct. You can play this moving around with a Vive controller and a regular controller, sitting down with just regular controller, or even without VR at all. But I like using the motion controllers, and I'll show you why. Part of it is just the moving around the arcade thing. Anyway, Crystal Castles. Doesn't want to work. Figures. There we go. See, this is using MAME. There's an app that lets you put your ROMs on and your artwork and all the other stuff that I'm going to show you. And put some credits in. Press start. I thought I did press start. There we go. Oh, darn it, Bentley Bear. As you can see, runs the games pretty well. Now, newer games are going to be more problematic, obviously, but even I've run arcade games from the 90s on here without any trouble, so that's cool. Yeah, I am playing with the D-pad here, so give me a break, but you get the idea. I mentioned Game Boy ROMs, and those work through these little Game Boys. Although there's no reason you couldn't actually put them on one of the arcade machines, but I prefer to use the Game Boys for the Game Boy ROMs. So here's the problem with them. You can't see anything, right? There's a backlight feature for these, I think. I have no idea how to activate it at all. What I do know how to do is turn on my flashlights. Well, I thought I knew how to turn on my flashlight. There we go. And if we angle it just right, we can sort of see what's going on here. Now, for you, there's actually probably a pretty clear image of Wario Land. For me, it's very blurry. Very blurry, but it is playable. It does work. These Game Boys are all throughout the arcade, as we'll see. That was pretty good, actually. You get the idea. All the music sort of goes together. This is an arcade, though, so it fits what you'd expect from the experience. So yeah, lots of these arcade machines here. Let's take a look at what else we've got. Got some non-video arcade-style games, like this basketball one here. Now, as with all these types of games that are in VR, the physics isn't exactly right because you can't feel the weight of the ball, so it's not going to feel like the real deal. But once you get used to it, you can do somewhat decently. Somewhat being the key word. I was doing so well last time I recorded this. This time I'm doing really poorly. I can't even get it started by getting one in. There we go, that starts the timer. One of my balls is stuck, which does not help either. There we go. Caught it. Oof. That's the no weight thing I was talking about. You can see what happens. We've got skee ball over here. It works very much the same as you'd expect. Pick up the ball, turn off the flashlight, roll it. There you go. Ooh, that was a good one. You can see through the shadow my character's wearing a hard hat for some reason. There is multiplayer in this game, which I assume is what the hats are for, because you can't see your own hat. I'm not sure exactly how the multiplayer works. I haven't tried it yet. Here's the crazy thing, right? There's at least one other game for the Vive that's just these things, like the skee ball and the basketball. This does them just as well as that does. You can see that we've got whack-a-mole over here, we've got a punching thing here, more arcade games, some other random stuff to play around with. Laser tag gun. There's no laser tag in the game, but you can still shoot with it. I might have noticed these cassette tapes around. You can put internet streaming radio or actual songs on them. And then bring them over to this jukebox here. As with the ROMs, I don't want to do anything that's going to get us in trouble, so let me find something that will not get us in trouble if we play it for 5 minutes. Not literally 5 minutes, more like 5 seconds. You know what I mean. Not that one. These two are littered throughout the, What the heck does this say? Loaded in a... Oh, locked in a cage. By Brick plus Mortar, or Brick and Mortar, I don't know how they pronounce it. I don't think we'll get too much trouble for playing this one. Yeah, it plays it as if it's playing the way it would sound if it was coming off a cassette tape, so not great. But it's interactive, it's immersive. You get the idea. I don't think there's any way to turn it off, really. Just gotta let the song continue. We got an Etch-a-Sketch here. And yes, the Etch-a-Sketch works. It uses the touchpads as the dials, so it works like a real Etch-a-Sketch. Very immersive. Just as hard to draw with as a real one. Can we shake it to erase it? Nope, not really. Surprisingly, that doesn't actually seem to work. Oh well. Another Game Boy here. What game is this? Ah, of course, Donkey Kong. You might notice that some of these games are picking up in the middle of things. For the non-arcade ROMs, it'll basically create a temporary save state when you leave a game, and then bring you back to that when you go back to the game. Music's still playing, this is a bit of a problem. But fortunately, again, I don't think it's a song we're going to get into a ton of trouble for playing. I could be wrong. Great. You can just sort of barely make those work with the flashlight. Let's just get away from there so the song's not as loud, and then we're less likely to get in trouble. Bowling works like you'd expect bowling to work. Whack-a-mole works like you'd expect whack-a-mole to work. Like I said, you can customize the artwork too. Here's the VIP room where we got a few other things of interest. I mentioned there's multiplayer, which is probably what that air hockey's for. We've got darts. Sorry if it seems like I'm rushing through this a little bit. One of my Vive controller batteries is pretty low, but I didn't want to delay this any further. Everything works the way you'd expect it to. If I can get another local player in here to play this, it would be awesome, but I figured they would probably have to use the computer while I use the Vive. Now, you may have seen this when we were looking at the arcade machines earlier. There are a few built-in video game mini-games. This one is a light gun shooter, as you can see. One of them is basically a ghost-themed Flappy Bird. I like this one. It's based on it seems to be inspired very much by a real zombie-themed light gun arcade game. Let's see if you can tell which one I'm thinking of. If you know what game this is very similar to the beginning of, or at least very similar to an early part of, go ahead and post it in the comments. I want to see if anyone gets it right. There will be some minor prize for the first person who guesses what I'm thinking of. Hold the gun off screen to reload, but not that far off screen apparently. You just hold it up. It's surprisingly complete. I mean, it's still a mini game. It's not like there's a whole game here, but it's fun. Yes, I realize also there are plenty of more VR themed, more VR using VR shooters, but this has a certain nostalgia to it. Over here, you'll find a few other knick-knacks like this guitar, which you can actually play in a way. We got a pick here. Doesn't seem to connect the way you'd expect it to. You change notes by moving your left hand, or whatever hand. In my case, it's my left hand. Do you hear that voice talking? You hear that robot voice? Floating guitar pick. Weird. Let's go find my buddy. Then we'll address that obvious video game console in there. Ah, here we go. This is my buddy Rob128. That's not what the game calls him, that's what I call him because I'm a Star Fox fan and a Nintendo fan. He just sort of wanders around the arcade saying stuff. He's cute, I like him.
Hello, Rob. I'm a human being. What are you?
You are not a human being, Rob128. So, a friend of mine discovered either a cool Easter egg or a weird glitch with him. He started throwing this guy across the arcade. If you can toss him, I'm not going to. After a few tosses, he started flying around the entire place really fast, maniacally. Don't know if that was an awesome intentional Easter egg or a very strange glitch. Given what we saw earlier, I'm gonna guess glitch. Anywho, the drum machine over there, that works too. This Polaroid camera works. The glow stick does glow things, so you know, there's that. I don't like the fake beer and the fake pizza disgustingness and the fake smoking disgustingness. I don't need extra disgustingness in my VR arcade games. Check out this Polaroid camera. It works. It actually does legitimately work. I don't know how accurate the viewfinder is, considering that it shows very, very little, but let's take a picture. Not entirely sure how to do that. I know that you can. I've done it before. There we go. So,
as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws.
Here we go. And our picture is on the ground and I can't quite pick it up. Not the flashlight, darn it. Let's try this again. Take a picture of the clock there. Cool. Darn, flabbit, gabbit. My floor settings aren't quite accurate. Alright, let's go ahead and try this again. This time, drop the camera on the table. And then we can pick up the picture. You can see, being a Polaroid, at first we can't see anything. But, shake it up. Or just wait, probably, if it's like real Polaroids. You start to see a picture forming. You did get the clock in the picture. For what little that's worth. Anyway, over here, we have what is clearly a Super Famicom ripoff, and on these cartridges, we have NES Games. And again, you can put any ROMs in any cartridges, I just decided to use the NES ROMs here. Let's go ahead, since I do own some of these games for real, let's play a little Castlevania, shall we? Put the cartridge in the system, like so. Actually, what's this? Pinball, Mario 2. Let's go Castlevania. We have our little Famicom controller, or Super Famicom controller, rather. We do, of course, have some scan lines happening, as you'd expect here. That's how I whip. As you can see, works quite well. Reminiscent of a classic TV experience, right? This does look like old TVs that I've had in myself in the past. How do I forgot how I use my items. Is it select? That's start. That's gonna pause things. How do I use my knife in Castlevania? It's been a while since I played Castlevania 1. Oh, that's right. It's up plus the attack button. Cool. You get the idea. You can put ROMs on all these cartridges. I've only done a few. The ones that are green. Let's see. This covers almost everything. There's one last feature of this game that I want to show you. That's pretty cool. What these reset buttons, I don't know what they actually do. They just put everything back where it was. Clearly not, because Castlevania is still in there. So I have no idea what that does. Whatever. Moving on. The last part of the place, the cinema. You might have seen there was a VCR on the TV next to the one where I was playing the NES games over there. more fake disgusting stuff. Well, real donuts wouldn't be disgusting, but these are like fake donuts. Somehow that makes them more disgusting. These videotapes, you can put videos from your computer on them, or YouTube videos, or videos from other streaming sites. Again, legal trouble is something to be concerned about here, but... What's this? Ganked.me radio. It's one of the streaming radio things that was built in. Fortunately, one of these videos is me. It's the first episode of the TVGB Vivestream, and therefore will not get me in trouble. If I can find that video, then I can show it to you. Here it is. Go to the VCR over here. Oop, that was weird. Stick it in. Stand back. This is just the full recording from Steam that I did, which is why it's got some stuff. But yeah, as you can see, watching the Vivestream on the Vivestream. The projector's doing what you expect it to do. Put your hand in front of it, it'll show on your controller, but it'll still show on there, which is a little less realistic, but probably for the better. Anyway, that's about it in terms of things to show you. As you can see, customizable art, like I said before. This game is really fun. Even though when you're controlling it with the D-pad on the touchpad here, it's a huge pain in the butt. It is still quite fun to play all these games in this immersive arcade environment, switch between a bunch of different games easily, play whack-a-mole and basketball and bowling and all that. And the variety of ROMs you can use is pretty impressive too, though again, you do have to own the game, and even then it's a little sketchy. I mentioned that with 90s ROMs even it sometimes works, 90s arcade games, which are a little more processor intensive. I've only got one on here to show you that won't get us in trouble, at least. Now I'm thinking there's actually only just one here, which is Rampage World Tour, a favorite of mine back on the N64. Incidentally, it's not just the wall arts or the things on the screens. You can see I put names of games on there. In fact, all this cabinet artwork on the sides and the tops and the bottoms, you can customize all of that, which is really cool. I'm just too lazy to do so. 2 credits to continue. Okay. Am I not? Oh, here we go. There we go. Now, unless you mess around in the MAME settings in ways that are complicated, you can only play as player 1 in any multiplayer games. But that's not a very big limitation. Besides, I like George. Peoria. It's not too far away from where I actually live. If you've played Rampage World Tour, you know how this goes, and you can see that it's running quite well on here, actually. If you haven't played Rampage World Tour, go play Rampage World Tour. It's a great game. It's on the arcades, but it's also on the Nintendo 64 and the PS1. And there are other ways of getting it too on later systems, via compilations and such things. Definitely check it out. It's simple, but it's a lot of fun. There are several games on the Vive that are basically meant to be VR versions of this, which I'm sure I'll cover later, at least some of them. Last thing I want to show you, this is the Flappy Bird-like game I was telling you about. One thing I want to show you that's pretty cool. It runs Super NES ROMs just fine as well. Just take my word for that so I don't have to go and find one that won't get us in trouble. But it also, as I mentioned, runs Vectrex games, weirdly enough. So here's one. This is the Mindstorm, the game that comes with the Vectrex. Now, when you're setting up the games in the arcade cabinets on the companion program, you can choose whether you want the screen to be vector style or pixel style to determine the scan lines and everything. This one has conked out on me somehow. I don't know what happened. There we go. Game over. Well, I wasn't really trying very hard. Let's see, is there anything else we haven't looked at? Oh, there's one more thing. There's actually 2 more things. 3 more things. Excuse me. First of all, the bar has no purpose whatsoever. You can pick stuff up and throw stuff. That's really about it. Great throw, me. Great throw. I don't know if you can knock that stuff over. It doesn't seem like it. I don't know why the bar's here, really. Just to fill in space, I guess. There are more games. There's another copy of Zombie Problem. And other stuff. Classic Rampage there. So there's this thing with laser tag vest that says laser tag coming soon. I don't know whether that's just a joke or if they're actually planning to add laser tag to the game. It would be very cool if they did. The last thing is, so this game shortly after it came out, increased in price, which made a lot of early adopters like me not so happy. As a very minor thank you to early buyers, there's a secret room that only early buyers can get to. At least that was the original idea. And once I can find where that is, I will show you. I think it's back in the starting room, or maybe in the VIP room. Ah, here we go. It's in the bowling room. This vending machine here, you'll notice one of the things, instead of being a drink, is the logo of Digital Cyber Cherries, the developer of New Retro Arcade Neon. I give that a click, and my controller's dead, so it's a good thing we're at the end. And go up these stairs here. Now, last time I did this, I ran into the same glitch we had earlier where I went flying away. So that time I was flying down instead of across, like this. As you can see, some glitches in this game. That's actually a pretty new glitch. I've never seen that until very recently, so hopefully something they'll fix soon. In the meantime, thank you for watching. I'm sorry it took me so many tries and so much to get this video out, a good video of this game, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you have a Vive and it works, New Retro Arcade Neon is a lot of fun. Stay tuned. My next stream will be not this coming Wednesday, but the one after. I'll be playing a train simulator called Derail Valley. It won't actually be live. It'll be pre-recorded because I'll be out that Wednesday, but I want to keep the schedule moving. Thanks again for watching. If you have any suggestions or questions or things you want us to play, just note it in the comments. Thanks very much.